What's up, YouTube? This is James. Hello. And here I am yet again, piloting my fish deck in the finals of a little cash tournament that was played recently. This one is against Topher 702, and I believe he's playing Black Wings. So, Keegan, say hello. You'll be joining me.
Yo, guys, what's up, duelists? James, what's it feel like to play against Topher Grace of that '70s show? You know,
Um,
what's it
yeah,
feel like
also of Spider-Man.
of
Yeah, I thought you
Spider-Man
might be piloting a sort of Spider 70s inspired Spider deck, but
Spider
he
sequel? Yes, yes, Venom. He could be playing Venom Managa Turbo. Anyway,
what's
let's
the card?
jump
Underground Arachnid?
Underground Arachnid. That card is
Okay,
based, actually. Okay,
good
anyway,
card.
let's jump right into this replay. Let's see. This is for a cash tournament, isn't it, James? Like pretty
Yes,
pretty reasonable stakes
correct.
here. Okay, cool.
Big
Let's
stakes.
you
Yeah,
win
and
the rock paper scissors. Let's talk about that for like
always,
45 minutes, 67 minutes.
yeah,
Uh,
67 seconds.
what was going through your brain when you decided to pick what was it, rock there, you know? Or was it
I just wanted to rock.
paper?
I was ready to rock.
You were ready to rock.
I
Okay.
was
Okay, looking at your
um
hand, it kind of sucks.
looking at my hand. Yeah, yeah. Your initial impression is correct here that
What the
this is
fuck?
not a very good hand.
But let's see your sixth card. Let's see your sixth card. Okay, it gets a little better. That's not too bad.
Does it? Does it get better?
Yeah, I
Um,
like having Battle Fader in my hand.
I mean, sure, okay.
Your opponent has
I
an
was like maybe
interesting
a
one.
Memory of Greed or Sarcophagus, any of these things. But
But your opponent has
so
an
here,
interesting one, right? He has Thunder King main deck, which
yeah,
is
and I actually know that this guy is playing Blackwing with at least some amount of Thunder Kings. I think I've even seen him play a Chaos Sorcerer that might be sided. I don't know. I don't know if there's Raikos, but I know that he's playing Ryo.
well, that's
So
really weird.
I just go for my substitute play. It is sort of technically going to be a -1, but you just want to have some stuff on the board and get your stuff in the grave. I end with two Dupe Frogs. If he was really paying attention and really was familiar with how some of this stuff worked, he would probably know that I had a Swap Frog and maybe the substitute in hand. But it would be a little. There are lines that would make someone not do that. So I don't know if you would immediately assume
Actually,
that. I also
if you have your second or third swap frog in your hand, then there's no way you can actually send the
yeah.
substitute from this combo. So he can't deduce the substitute, but he can deduce the third swap frog, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, James.
Yeah, I think that's really true. And I also don't send Unifrog and Flip Flop here.
Yeah, because those are generally cards you want to summon, right? I mean, I don't really know, but anyway, having two Dupe Frogs, for those of you who don't know, Dupe Frog has to be the attack target. But when there's two in play, your opponent basically can't attack unless they're attacking you directly. And
Yeah,
there,
and even though Blackwing has a few more ways to deal with dupe block than some other decks, it's still like at worst gonna be a 2 for 2. So it's just trading.
yeah, and their hand is actually fucking stacked. Like this hand is like really good.
Pretty good hand.
Yeah, I would love to draw that hand if I was anything. What?
Right.
I guess
So
he's probably thinking Coelacanth, Armory Arm OTK, right?
I mean, I think you're joking, but no, he's probably just thinking I'm playing like some random frog deck.
Oh.
Oh.
Then
Um
why would he make this play?
oh, why would he make that play? As opposed to what do you think is the other play?
I would
I'm
summon
just
my entire hand. Or I would summon Ryo. Those are my two ideas. I'm either summoning Ryo or I'm summoning my entire hand. And then I'm like going like
well going Sirocco Gale Bora and then what? Like
set
Gale half
Icarus.
one. Oh, why would you do that though?
Why would I do that? Because sometimes I just gotta let him know, you know? And you can either make, if you think they're on Frog Monarchs, you could just go Sirocco Gale, make Thought Ruler, and then you can set Icarus and set up for that. And
I don't
I like
I don't
making
really
Thought
agree
Ruler.
with any of this. I think if you're gonna summon everything, I mean you could do something like dark end one of the things, and then you attack over the other one and attack direct. But I
You
mean,
know,
if you
at least one of the cards in hand is Swap Frog, right? So,
I don't see. I'm not. Maybe. Yeah, probably. But
and then
anyway, I
you
mean,
said you could deduce one of them as Substitute as well. So that means they have one real card.
yeah, but you. I don't know if I would fully make that read.
All right.
But anyway,
That's just something that I would consider. I'd be like, oh, their hand probably sucks.
yeah,
So I'm gonna
for
summon all
sure.
my dudes, and then I'm gonna Icarus them, and then I'm gonna kill them in like 2 turns.
Sure. Well, yeah. I mean, he's still kind of plotting out the same type of play. He's just like not committing everything to the board right away.
Yeah,
Because
but
if you have,
my issue with this play is like, okay, let's say the frog player just doesn't bring back Treeborn, and then you Icarus the 2 dupes, and then you can't play your guys anymore. Do you get what I'm saying?
yes,
So
sure,
that's just something to consider. Anyway, you get back
right,
Treeborn, you use it to get your
yeah,
third dupe out of the deck, which now this is actually a lot harder
yes.
for the Blackwing deck to
Well,
deal with.
and I want to touch on something real quick. I mean, I gave a decent amount of thought right there to when I normal summoned the Substode, whether I was going to use priority, because if I use priority and he chains torrential, then all of the dupe frogs miss timing.
Yes.
Or the two that are already on the field, I would get the third thing from the deck still. Um, but it's just the one torrential versus like Book of Moon, and Icarus could also make the dupes miss timing, but he's going to have an opportunity to Icarus on the chain either way.
Well,
So
I'm gonna be honest about this. Actually, if you see a Blackwing deck and you see them playing Thunder King Ryle, there's actually a very good chance they're not playing Torrential Tribute main deck. Because most Blackwing decks don't play Torrential Tribute.
that's true. That is a good point.
Yeah, and then not chaining the Icarus attack to the Substitute is a little.
Yes.
It's really
Well,
sucks. It's just a misplay, right?
I I think so. Yeah. The one thing that I was thinking after the fact is that if he thought, because I hadn't used that third swap frog yet, that I was going to go for the third swap and maybe activate that effect either to bounce or to whatever, then he could just chain to that.
No, it's just a
Because it seems
mistake.
right. Well, I mean, if I was definitely going to do that, which again he doesn't know, so I don't think it's correct to assume,
Yeah.
then it does leave me with like less information, whatever. But because it seemed like he was kind of surprised when I went into the Unifrog. But anyway, the Unifrog swings, and now he's forced to like Icarus not on the chain, so my dupes don't miss timing.
Yes. So if he had played this slightly differently, basically
Yeah.
you would have traded 2 for 2, and you would not be able to get back your. I'm assuming you get back 2 swap frogs here. There.
Uh, I searched the flip flop from deck.
Okay, that makes sense then. Um, but basically now you're up 7 cards to 4 or 5 after his draw step.
Gonna be five. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Unfortunately,
it
my
would have
cards
been
still are
5.
not very real because even though I got basically a fucking ton of advantage off these last 2 turns, it's like I'm still not really feeling like I'm in great position. But
But you are threatening a lot more than you were threatening before, which is like
yeah,
pretty good.
and here, I mean, on basically unless he has some specific combination like Blizzard Gale or Sirocco Gale, it's pretty hard for him to break this dupe in defense.
Yes,
Um,
true.
so I thought I was kind of in a nice position there, but he does have this stuff, which is not it's not incredibly surprising. I mean, a lot of 2-card combos would have done this.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. And then
but
you just have the dupe and then attack over both, right? I'm assuming that's the play.
yeah, you just have the dupe and swing and hit for damage.
Another play you could make here is you could make a synchro like dark end, but there's a couple reasons you wouldn't want to do that, right? Because you only have 3 darks, so if you top deck dad and your dark end dies, then that's not great. And also you have Kalut in hand, so it helps protect your guys a little bit. So
Yep.
yeah. What was
So
the
I just
set?
take them.
Bottomless. Okay, so that's
Yeah.
virtually a blank. Um,
Yeah, but unfortunately, I draw like virtually a blank too because now all the substitutes are gone.
the reason you don't bring back Treeborn here is because if he draws Bora, then he can pump it,
Yep.
and it's like a free like super big hit on you, which you
Shura also is not great. I mean, it like getting the value and then having just more fodder. Here I do something kind of weird. Yeah, I don't bring it back, and I don't really have anything to do, you know? So rather than discard the Fishborg in the end phase, just as a 7 card hand limit, um, I just discard the special just to just to kind of mess with him, like maybe it forces out like a Book of Moon if he doesn't want it to return. Maybe I don't know, like it kind of loses to oppression, but at the same time, like forcing an oppression here wouldn't be the worst thing. And I kind of lose to oppression either way, so
Yeah, at least it kind of gives you a little bit of info whether or not
yeah.
to conserve your
So it's
important battle
kind
fader.
of just fucking around. I don't really know how else to say it. And now he's double riot. Okay, so now I draw my
So
big boy.
he summons Ryo, he attacks with everything, you drop Fader, you get back Treeborn, you top deck your Wincom. And you just go
Yep.
for it, right?
I mean, yeah, because here again, it's kind of like oppression. He didn't oppression the last turn, so
And
you can stall him.
what's on your radar here? Like another Icarus, or like maybe
Well, even if he has the other Icarus, I can
you can use
potentially use Coelacanth effect.
yes, coelacanth effect.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Um,
Yes, Cole. Yes. So you pay
Acting
for
Cole.
this. He bottomlesses, but you can still kill through. Well, I don't know if you can kill through Thunder King, but I know you can normally kill through this if there's no Thunder King in play.
Yes. So he bottomlesses this, which means I get to summon 5.
Yes.
And he says something right after this in the chat, like, "Oh, would have been good to remember, or would have been good to keep the bottomless for the summons." So I think it's maybe just a little bit of inexperience playing the fish deck, also.
Yeah, if he had just bottomlessed when all your guys came out, you'd have been in a really bad position. You actually probably might have lost.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, because like,
'Cause, yeah,
okay, yeah, you got your Coelacanth is forced to attack over Thunder King, and then you make something, and then he just kills it. Like, so if he had just bottomless these guys, he would have lost. He made a lot of really like questionable plays, and this is inexperience. Like, this is like one of those things where it's like this fish deck. It's very punishing, right? If someone makes a bad step or makes the wrong move, they get
yeah.
bopped. You know what I'm saying? They just get destroyed. So I don't know.
Well, and honestly, I mean, this kind of like even we were just saying the turn prior when I special the swap for like basically no reason. It's all sort of playing into that where it's like I do a bunch of things that kind of like confuse them or like they might not have a lot of experience playing against. So like it gives them a lot of opportunities to mess up.
Yeah,
They don't know like what is an important threat or not.
exactly. You move forward with the combo. You set up Colossal Arm through Thunder King.
Yeah, this was kind of, I mean, it's not difficult once you actually figure it out, but it took me a second of sitting there just to make sure that I could do it correctly and also to make sure that I ended up making a Colossal, he negates with Thunder King. I make a second Colossal and then I special the swap. And since I still have the token, I'm able to make it with the Borg. But I also just had to think about, so basically either way, I had to threaten that I could make double Armory, which was relatively easy, or double Colossal, which was a little more complicated. And I said to him in the chat, like, this is one of the first times I've made double Colossal in like a really long time. But like sometimes I question why I even have 2 in the extra deck, but then I was like, oh, I guess it makes sense. Anyway, I crash in there, and he does have the Kalute, but he would have needed to have had double Kalute to stop it.
Yep.
Because otherwise there's still more damage.
The Thunder King was actively pretty good for him there, actually.
Yeah, and I mean, like Blackwing is like not the best match for Fish. Like Tech Thunder King like also matches up pretty well against Fish. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, but he a few missteps, and all of a sudden you're down a game.
Yeah, and even though I drew bad, right? Like confirm I drew bad.
Well, I think you drew poorly till you drew the Coelacanth.
Yes. Okay. Sure.
And I think that like part of you drawing poorly
he didn't draw many traps.
Was part of the reason this frog deck is so good is because you mill out like fuck like what 10 cards or something, and then you're not drawing into those like super dead cards, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Correct.
Yeah. Looking at the opening hands, he's going first. He draws into Dust Crush. Holy shit. His hand is insane.
I mean, and it gets
It
It
gets
gets worse, to
worse.
be honest. Like
It gets
after
worse.
he plays a couple cards, you will
He
see.
doesn't allure. What? What are people? What? I guess he must highly value Sirocco in
Yeah,
this matchup.
I don't really know. I mean, I know he has some stuff in his deck that might make him want to keep that Sirocco. I think that is
Hmm.
probably some of the
Okay.
logic.
Okay.
And
But
so
like part of it for me is like if you're going first as a Blackwing player, I'm pretty much always slamming that allure because okay, I have Dust Crush. If I can find like Whirlwind or something, then I'm just winning, right? Like that's like there's no way I'm losing that game. So I don't know.
well, it seems pretty hard for him to lose this game anyway, and I get really fucked here because yeah, I mean he sends back the Swap Frog, which he took a long time to think
Oh,
about, and
oh my.
and I like thought about it too. I was like, dude, if he has the Mind Crush here, I just get blown the fuck out, and
Holy
lo
shit.
and fucking behold,
Oh my god, he chained it to the Moray too. So a few heads up plays from him, knowing that you were forced to Moray basically, and then
yeah.
oh my god,
I really did consider. I was like, I guess I could not Moray and just like wait till I draw a third water, but yeah, it's like the fact
down
he took so long.
horrendous. Yeah,
The fact he took so long to think about sending the Swap Frog when I mean he is inexperienced in the deck, so that was factoring in, but I think the Swap Frog is a pretty obvious send there. So like that made me think that there might be something else lurking.
he still doesn't alert. See, this is a big issue for me, right? I think if you have this Blackwing deck, you wanna turn up the gas. You wanna turn up the jets, dude, because like you got to put them on a clock. Like Dust Crushing the Fish deck, they're just gonna draw out of it eventually, if you're not putting any sort of pressure on. So I don't know. Um, Series of draw pass. You draw into Torrential, so you've sided in Torrential against Blackwings. That seems like a good
Correct.
yeah. So he finally allures here after hitting a Blizzard. And then he draws into a second copy of Deck Devastation Virus. That's
Right.
nasty. Is that even something that's on your radar right now? Like as a fish player, like are you even
Honestly, when I watched this replay, I didn't even know deck devastation was it too. So, so
shit?
it was not on my radar. And I mean, there was also a point here that I could have just like summoned the Metabo and attacked for 18. But two things were I could draw my second copy of Moray, which is really unlikely, but something I was kind of keeping in mind. And I thought he might have the Sirocco. I mean, he wasn't doing anything for a couple turns, and I was like, well, what could it really be? Like
Yeah.
Sirocco, maybe Cyber Dragon, even I don't know. Um,
Oh.
and so I thought it would just be more valuable. But yeah, he tribute summons Sirocco, I torrential, he deck devs me, and I'm not feeling too great at this point.
Yeah. That's pretty bad for you. I mean, your Fader's gone. He had oppression for it anyway, but your
Yeah.
Fishborg is it can come back. But honestly, if you have like the read that both of these are kind of like non-cards, you can turn up the jets yourself. You have some
I can.
monsters. Yeah.
I can just be swinging for 18 and then even make an armory arm the following turn. Yeah, I mean this is all things that I can do, and in fact I do because like the Sirocco is gone at this point. He's 4 back row. I'm not sure if he kept in things like bottomless. I mean, after seeing it not be that effective, so it's like
Yeah.
maybe he just has a bunch of like I don't know, kind of stun type traps. Like I don't know.
Is there any
So
consideration to activating the Metabo Shark effect when you summon it here?
no, I'd rather keep the Fishborg, and I don't want to draw into the Coligant or really the Fishborg either.
That's true. That's true. Okay. Interesting.
And he draws, and I knew that he drew this because he would have like summoned it at one of these prior turns.
Yeah,
So
that's
I was
true.
like,
So he
that's
top decks Thunder
I was
King.
like, that's such a good draw. That's such an insanely good draw there.
Yeah, and he has Solemn Oppression. And he's got
Yeah.
2 more turns of the virus. That's pretty
Yeah.
but you do get the Moray.
And then I draw the Moray the next turn. And I'm like, what the fuck did I summon the shark?
That's so funny. I mean, if he had not drawn a monster, like that
I
shark
know.
would have gone the distance. So
Yeah, and then I'm like forced to. I draw the Coligant. This is all doesn't help me. I just want to try to force out with the
I think you have to brain here, right?
Oh, I do. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And I just to basically like protect myself from more damage. He has a book, also book by using that. And now I MSD. I could have maybe MSD first. I don't know, but it wouldn't really have helped either way, because I was gonna.
Yeah.
I would have pitched a Borg and then made an armory arm, and 18 is bigger than the stuff he had on board if that attack goes through, but it just didn't matter. So
Holy shit. That was a game. Dust Crush into Do Nothing into Deck Devastation
Immediately.
Virus.
Yeah.
That's that's
Um,
that's pretty brutal. No cap. No
I
cap.
felt I was not feeling great, and also like that happened, and like I was still feeling like I didn't draw very well in the first game, and so I'm like, man, come on, like,
Yeah. Well,
um,
that is also part of the problem with these types of decks. I mean, they're a little bit
sure.
linear.
But I
And
typically do not really have this problem. I typically, I don't know, draw pretty well.
well,
Um,
speaking of drawing pretty well, your hand this game, it's all right. You got some power. You
better.
got you
I have
got
some more stuff for sure,
you have
and I'm
four
going
limited
first.
cards. Yeah, four limited cards in your opening hand, which is never bad.
Always nice to see.
Is a
Yeah,
consideration to
MST, the most
pitching
powerful.
Swap Eater or not Swap Eater, Snowman Eater because the Oyster gives you two tributes for Substitute, right?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I know I'm for sure summoning the oysters, so it's either the snowman or the gores. And that was something I really thought about for a while. And I still, I mean, the way this game plays out, I'm very happy I kept the gores. But um, I mean, I just felt like setting this, like if I do this play and then I end up setting the snowman after, it's like snowman's good, but it's not that, it's good when I like have nothing and I need to sit on it. When I already have my setup, like flipping it on my own turn to pop something is not really what I want to do. So I just felt like keeping the gores as insurance, and I can even tribute summon it with the brain control or like, do what I need to do. I just felt like that because if he is able to clear this stuff and he probably uses like an Icarus or something to do that, then that gores is going to be fucking lethal.
Well,
So that's something.
another thing you got to consider is that Deck Devastation Virus does clear your entire board if you set
Yes.
Snowman. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
so that's like
I kind of realized that right after, like after I'd already decided for these other reasons I wanted to pitch the snowman, and I was like, yeah, that was also a good like a good decision for that reason.
yeah. He has a really interesting setup here. He's probably playing around specifically torrential by doing this, but in if you knew for whatever reason that this wasn't torrential, this set Typhoon wasn't torrential, which I'm sure you were
Yeah,
thinking in your head, I can bluff torrential by setting Typhoon turn one because
yeah, a bit.
yeah, because if you set Typhoon and they don't set any back rows, then your tree barn is turned off. So it's kind of like
Right.
one of
I
those
mean,
interesting.
the ability of him to clear dupes without any back row is pretty limited. So like,
Yeah,
I felt like it was not gonna lock me forever.
yeah. But he actually did have the ability to either Black Rose or Armor Master turn one and get his deck devastation live. Now, he opted not to, obviously, playing around the
Yeah,
torrential. But
I unphase MSC like trying to hit an Icarus because I know that's how he's mainly gonna clear this. I hit Solomon, which is also very good.
yes, and you draw your sixth limited card of the game on turn.
Yes.
What is this? Two,
Fifth. Um,
sixth, right? Typhoon, Brain, one for one, Gores, Cold Wave. Okay, yeah, fifth, yeah. Wait, no. What was the fourth one in your opening hand? I forget.
it was Cold Wave Gore's MST 1-for-1.
There you go. There you go. Okay.
And so he asked me about these rulings, and it was a little confusing because I was like, I mean, yeah, like it misses timing chain link too. I can't really tell you more information than that. So I was a little confused about what he's asking, but he does what is probably a good play, which is just summon the Sirocco, use its effect on itself, and then chain the deck devastation so that my dupes all miss timing. And I mean, I was aware that this was a play. I just it still leaves us fairly even, so it's like not the worst thing in the world. He
Plus, he
also could have
can't he
done
can't
something.
attack you this turn, right?
Yeah, he also could have done something where he went flip the Shura, special Gale, make Armor Master, Blizzard effect, get back Shura, and you could chain the deck devastation to whatever, and to the Blizzard effect, and then you could either make a level 6 or just keep both on board. But then you're just leaving yourself with the Sirocco in hand. So maybe this is better. I don't know. It would let you attack that turn at least, but then you're risking like Feeder Gores.
One thing I don't love about Deck Devastation Virus is that it pops you on the draw phase, but then you just get Treeborn back. So it's like whatever. Yeah, I mean, like,
Yeah. And so
yeah,
I show him my hand.
yeah,
And I mean, now I'm super glad I kept Gores, right? Because like, and
yeah.
I'm
You would have
sure
just not had card in your hand if you
with
had kept it here.
with 3 cards that he has, like, how is he gonna efficiently deal with Gores? Like, come on.
Yeah, especially because they probably like they have to side out something for deck heavy. Are they siding
Right,
out
for sure.
Mirror Force, D Prison, like the stuff that deals with
Some sort of
Gores?
removal, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's part of why Gores is so good in these combo type decks,
So
because they'll just go all in.
you draw Shark and you pass, which I think is the right play because you have Gores. So you're chilling.
Yeah, and oh, also there's actually something pretty important I want to mention here. So if you remember, he set 3 and set Shura turn 1, and he had one of those that he set was Deck Devastation. So
Yes.
pretty obvious, if he had the Deck Devastation, or sorry, if he had the Sirocco already, he would have either summoned or set it against the Duprogs. He doesn't want to have to tribute the Shura for the Sirocco, when he could just be summoning it. So I knew that the card he drew for that turn was the Sirocco. And then it made me think, because, like, why would he set the Shura first then? It's either because he has the Icarus or he wants to get it back with the Blizzard. And so I was more so reading Icarus, but that was another reason I didn't want to summon the Metabo, because, like, Blizzard into Goyo easily just deals with that.
Yep. Mm.
And I already had a play kind of set up before I do that enemy controller, where I was going to not get Treeborn back, again, playing around Icarus, not get Treeborn back, brain control the Blizzard, normal summon the Shark, both threaten to swing over the Shura, and then either it forces the Icarus or he main to, or then I main to Goyo or something. The enemy controller made me think a little bit about which I would rather use here, but I think keeping the enemy controller plus Cold Wave combo was kind of important.
I also think that keeping the oh, I guess he knows it. Never mind. Sorry. I was going to say normally you would keep the information, but he does get to see your draw step because of Deck Devastation Virus. So, but yeah.
And I also thought about making Goyo first here, which, like, would have been better if it was just Icarus, but I just played it a little safe. Didn't really need to take the Shura. It also would have made another Shura alive from him to swing over it. So I just swing.
From him, he knows your hand. So the reason he doesn't bottomless the Metabo Shark is you can actually chain enemy controller, tribute your Metabo Shark, and take his Shura. So that's the reason he doesn't activate bottomless yet. Which is...
It might have still been good to do that, but yeah, I mean, sure.
Pretty heads up play, because, like, otherwise he just gets his Blizzard back and he's chilling. You know what I mean? If you don't make a synchro. And then this way he can bottomless your synchro, and it's...
Yeah.
Because...
And now... And, like, I mean, I was pretty hesitant to drop Gores here, because I was like, he knows I have Gores, like... But then I really thought about, like, what is he really about to do? Like, summon Gale, like, set an Icarus? Like, I don't care. I'll force out the Icarus.
Wait, what? He Black Rosed?
Yeah.
He didn't Armor Master?
I mean, he knows I have the Econ, so...
But he knows your hand. He knows your hand is just Cold Wave Econ, and you still have a Virus turn. So that means... And all your Substitutes are gone. So you would have to draw specifically Coelacanth.
Yeah, I mean, if I drew this, it was also lethal. But if I drew Mobius or, like, another tribute, it was also lethal.
But that's actually a really heads up play. I would have definitely made Armor Master and just died.
Yeah, I think Armor Master would have been pretty good, honestly. But I was like, okay. And then here, I just summoned the Mobius raw. I'm like, it's a 3-turn clock or less if I draw another monster, and I already have the Cold Wave for sort of, like, back row removal, and he's on so low cards that I'm just not super worried. He allures and he sits there for a while thinking, so I'm like, okay, you clearly drew 2 darks, like, also lucky. But then, so he sets. And I end up drawing Coelacanth the next turn, and I'm aware that I have game.
With Cold Wave.
Yeah, with Cold Wave, and I get back the Treeborn, and I can just Mistworm if I need to. But unfortunately, are you at this part yet? Sorry,
yes, I am.
Is lagging a little bit.
Unfortunately, he does have Icarus Vayu, which
the cards he drew off the like, it was, like, specifically Vayu, and, like, and the card in hand already was Icarus. And it's just like, what? So now I'm actually worried, because he does have the Vayu target, and
if he draws
like Ryo,
Thunder King,
Ryo,
specifically Thunder King, it would have to be specifically Thunder King, right?
Or a Blizzard.
Blizzard would also do it, but he was already down one Blizzard, I believe. Okay, only one.
Yeah.
Would Bora do it?
Yeah.
No,
So
Bora wouldn't do it. I'm like trying to
no,
think.
anything else was not.
Yeah, and unfortunately for him, he does draw Dark Armed, but that leaves him with only it
Yeah.
leaves him with 4 Darks Engrave as opposed to 3,
Yeah.
which is like
I mean, yeah.
it's weird if you think about it. Like, was there a way that he could have played this game to like think about that? Maybe, I don't know. But now he's just dead to the coelacanth, and
Yeah.
or
Well,
is
it
he
also
actually
was
dead
kind
to
of
this?
yeah, because actually, if you look at my grave, I drew shark, and I already pitched an oyster. I used that oyster first turn. Now I drew the second oyster. So actually, the only things that coelacanth can get are 2 Borgs and an eel, and
That
none of those
doesn't
can
kill.
attack.
Yeah, that doesn't kill. Yeah, that's
So it was
super
actually kind
funny.
of funny because like I obviously like when he summoned the armed wing, it didn't kill me. I was like, oh, I just have game with coelacanth, enemy controller, and but then I drew the oyster, and I had to sit there and think for a second. I was like, wait, what are my targets again? Like, this isn't actually game if I go for coelacanth, and then obviously I just attacked.
And
He
then
was a little salty about it.
he shows his next card is Thunder King, which would have lethal you.
Yes. Yeah, I
That's
would have
super
been
funny.
very upset if he drew Thunder King hadn't killed me there.
I mean, yeah, it looks like he had a fairly good matchup. He adapted his play in this game too, but luckily for you, you didn't draw anything that got hit by deck devastation in like 6 draw
In
steps or
any of the
whatever.
games.
Yeah, in any of the games, because all your stuff that got hit by deck devastation was in the graveyard turn 1 from
Yes,
from
yes, that's
Substitute.
true as well.
Yeah, so deck devastation virus effective at clearing a board of dupe frogs, and probably still a great sideboard card, but
Yeah, I think it's still good. I just
not as much of a bullet as one might think, because you can still get back
yeah.
Treeborn, you can still do whatever. This was pretty interesting games. If you guys like this type of content, like, subscribe, show some love in the comments. What do you think, James? Any more comments before we wrap up this heater of a set?
No, good games. I'm sure I'll play you again soon, Topher. And yeah, if anyone has more questions about the fish deck, comment below.
Peace.